Thank you very much, Mr. Youssef Allahu, for joining me. What's the latest situation, information from the ground that you have got so far in Gaza?
The situation is very dangerous. Israel continues with its unallowed war on the besieged territory, where 2.5 million Palestinians are being terrorized day and night. With the daily power cuts and shortages of drinking water and lack of the internet service, inability to go and stock up supplies and food, it's miserable. I couldn't speak with my family for a few days. Luckily, last night I managed to speak to one of my brothers, and he said, we hate the night. Each night we survive this aggression on Gaza. It is a miracle. I know how it feels to be targeted as a civilian. They're telling me no one is immune from these targeting attacks by Israeli occupation forces. Paramedics were attacked. Rescue teams were attacked as they were rushing to rescue the wounded. They are telling me, and also I'm a journalist, by the way, so I know what's going on. Over 1,000 Palestinians are still trapped under the rubble. Some of them are alive. And seeing those images in light of the silence of the international community who say Israel has a right to defend itself, it's just outrageous. Civilians are being killed and massacred. Why it's okay for Israel to kill civilians? Why the world intervened when Russia invaded the Ukraine? Why Palestinian blood is cheap? Why we are being treated as subhumans? It's not acceptable that the world, remains silent while these massacres are being committed. The situation is deteriorating.
And what's the possibility of people living in the north of Gaza to evacuate to the south? That's the directive of Israel from last Friday. What's the possibility that they can really do so? And will it help?
Well, tens of thousands of them, they already left when they received these leaflets from the air. But as some of them were making their own way to the south of Gaza, a civilian convoy was targeted, and over 30 Palestinian civilians were killed, including women and children, and in addition to tens others wounded. So some of them, the vast majority, they returned to their houses to the north and Gaza City, because they say, if we are being promised to be safe and evacuated already and we are targeted, no, we would rather die in our houses. There are no red lines. So Israel is deceiving the world. If you ask the Israeli officials, they will tell you that we are giving Palestinians a chance to leave. But ask those Israeli officials, do you really believe your own words? Why are you targeting civilians? They don't believe you. I mean, we never trusted the Israeli assurances.
On the other hand, from Israel point of view, they said Hamas are using children, women as human shields. What's your take?
If Israel claims to be the civilized country and the only democracy in the Middle East, and it has the latest technology, it should make the battle with the fighters, not with the civilians. So when an Israeli army appeared on CNN and the anchor asked him, why you are doing this war, is it against Hamas? He said, no, this war is not only against Hamas, it's against the civilian population. So Israel is killing civilians intentionally in order to mount a pressure on the resistance, mainly Hamas, to return the hostages. So Palestinian civilians are paying a heavy price. It's not acceptable that Israel attacks civilians in flagrant violation of the international law, when they cut electricity, food, and drinking water. This is a war crime. So Israel should focus on combating the Palestinian resistance groups, not attacking civilians.
What's the difference between Hamas and Palestinian people, and who should represent the fight for Palestinians?
Hamas is part of the Palestinian people. They are a resistance group. Hamas wouldn't have existed if Israel doesn't occupy Palestinian land. Hamas is a reaction to 75 years of aggression, bombardment, besiegement, arresting over 5,000 Palestinian political prisoners, ethnically cleansing Palestinian villages in 1948, making the vast majority of Palestinian indigenous refugees. So when Hamas was democratically elected, the whole world boycotted Hamas, including the secular Fatah party.
In your opinion, what's the workable solution between Israel and Palestine? Is two-state solution workable?
I don't think so, because Israel killed the two-state solution anyway. Israel is making it very difficult for the Palestinians to establish their country in lands occupied in 1967, because it grabbed more land, it annexed more land. It is making Palestinian lives miserable. Some Palestinians were forced to flee. Israel is controlling the resources of Palestinians. And because of the inaction of the international community, this option is not viable. Israel refuses one-state solution, two-state solution. It refuses any solution. It just wants the Palestinians to evacuate and lead and flee. Palestinians lost faith in the so-called international community. They lost faith in the so-called peace process. But they know that they will not be able to wipe Palestinians. They know that there will never be stability in the Middle East without a just solution to the Palestinian problem and allow millions of refugees to return back.
Regarding the situation on the ground, how do you see the vulnerable situation of the borders between Israel and Lebanon, Israel and Syria? Do you see the situation will escalate into wider conflicts for the whole region?
Well, the Lebanese authorities or the Lebanese resistance, they say that we are not willing to stay idle and see Palestinians slaughtered day and night. Israel accuses Iran of being involved in what's going on by supporting the resistance groups in Gaza. And we know Hezbollah is a proxy arm to Iran. You have the Syrian regime also is being supported by the Iranian regime. So it's hard to tell if it's going to be a regional conflict. But the US administration has sent warning messages to leaders or countries in the region that do not intervene. Otherwise, we will attack you. So I don't think it's going to include other countries, but this depends on the developments inside Gaza. What's important now is that Israel must stop its killing and targeting of civilians. More people are being killed hour after hour.